So welcome back. We are with the Crossfire project again. The transmission got postponed a little bit since it's been raining all Memorial Weekend long. So it's not dry enough to be able to shove that thing under there since we're doing everything in the driveway. But we've got a couple little things that I want to continue upgrading, just to kind of prepare the car for the next power level and being able to go from there. So we'll get back to the highlights of transmission part 2 before too long. But today I want to strengthen the motor mounting situation to make sure that it doesn't have any weird issues along the way. So hang out and see what we're doing this thing. Alright, so it has been quite some time since I put this thing in here and wrestled around with making the motor mounts and fitting everything up. So what I am planning on doing is the motor mounts should be good enough, but I would just want to add a little extra insurance. So what I'm going to do is place some brackets onto our head bolt section. So we'll attach the heads, and then there'll be a bracketry down on the frame rail that it will bolt to. Let's see if we can get a better look. Alright, so the idea is down here, see if we can point at it from this side here. You can see where the metal is clicking over there. That's our edge of our quasi frame rail on this unibody machine. So we're going to bring a bracket that comes from the side of the head here with those two head bolts, and we'll come through and mount it down there. So what that's going to mean is we need to grab the little grinder and essentially clear off some paint where we plan on hooking this thing up. Alright, you might be able to see a shiny spot down there. There's a lot of seam sealer. So that's going to make for some real fun welding. So anyways, we will probably get a bracket, piece of metal essentially, that clicks down here. So we'll weld it right in. And then another piece of bracketry that comes in here. And lays up there. So that should hopefully give us the area we need. So down on the rail here, we'll have that sit there, and it comes up and just bolts onto the head. There'll be enough, little bit of play in all the things, so just in case, like expansion of aluminum and all that type of stuff, it should have some wiggle room. But in case the motor mounts break or something gets foobarred, we'll have a secondary attachment that will keep from destroying other stuff. Alright, so with a small round of paint, this guy should be ready to go back in. So we can slide it on back in. Alright, so let's just for fun see if we can get a measurement from what roughly should be center line of crankshaft to that frame rail. We're talking pretty close to 1.5 feet. So if you're thinking in terms of torque values, if you had 1,000 foot-pounds of torque generated by the motor and you have a 3-to-1 reduction in the transmission, you're going to have 3,000 foot-pounds trying to rotate. So with 3,000 foot-pounds, and we've got motor mounts that kind of are barely even a foot away. Those motor mounts, when you get full tilt, most likely this one motor mount's going to have a pull-up force of pretty close to that 3,000. Of course, you got some pushing force on this other side to kind of help it out as well. But that's where I didn't want to necessarily trust those guys. I think I barely have maybe 4 threads threaded into the nut, which should be good enough, but I really don't want to chance it. So, with this out here, 1.5 feet maybe, you would kind of reduce it to maybe 3/4 the amount of force. So now all that we have to do, like if this was the only thing on there, maybe 2,200 pounds. But since we also have the actual motor mount itself, they should be able to dissipate a little bit of energy. And we're not going to have a full 1,000 horsepower in this thing. So, for the most part, we really only need one of these torque arms, torque limiting arms, whatever you want to call them. Back in the 60s and 70s, something similar to this was used quite a bit. Mainly because they had rubber motor mounts. And when you had one of those 400 horsepower big blocks back in the day, you could twist that rubber motor mount out of existence. Son of a biscuit. Alright, so after a halfway decent day of fabrication, we got our little torque arm going there. That should kind of give a little more security to our power increase. And I don't know, I think we're starting to run out of things to do. Looks like we still need to check our alternator controller. That's nothing that needs to be done on camera. And then probably tackle something with the windshield surround pieces. As you can tell, we are running ours without the windshield surround because I didn't want to lose mine going down the road. Anyways, I'll have to wait until next time. I guess we're pretty much done here today. So, anyways, thanks for stopping by and watching. Next time we'll probably get the transmission thrown into the P30 project, and then we'll be able to finish most of that off and get this thing out and give her a little shakedown runs again and start looking at adding a little bit of boost controller. So, I guess, till that point, we can see you again later.